Hello and welcome to Sound Off Sports. Great show today as we prepare for Super Bowl Sunday. We got former head coach with the Vikings, Mike Tice, in the studio breaking down all the big things we need to know about Super Bowl 59. Plus, we're talking about the trade that shocked the world. Some people thought it was in fact fake, but no, it wasn't. Luka Doncic is now a member of the Los Angeles Lakers. We hear your thoughts, all that and much more coming up right now on SOS.
Make some noise. This is Sound Off Sports, sponsored by Sam and Ash.
Hello and welcome to Sound Off Sports. I'm your host, Mike Davis, joined right now by my main man, James Edward Barrickman, the fourth. James, a lot of juice today on this show.
I'm fired up. It's a great show.
Super Bowl Sunday, how can you not love it? My beloved Philadelphia Eagles are in Super Bowl 59 facing off against the Kansas City Chiefs as they try to attempt a three-peat, something that's never been done before in the
Unprecedented.
NFL. Unprecedented. Pat Riley is letting them use the whole term.
I saw that.
So if they were to win, the gear and all that stuff can say three-peat because Pat Riley okayed it.
Nice
he
of
owns
Pat.
that trademark. Shout out to him. But let's get into this. We have a great show today. We're going to be talking with Mike Tice, former NFL head coach. He's going to be breaking down the X's and O's of Super Bowl 59, all the things we need to know before the big game. But James, we asked everybody at home, what is your bold prediction for Super Bowl 59 right out off the bat? Let's get to a great voicemail we got from somebody at home.
Yeah, Mike, my name is Ray, and I like Patrick Mahomes. I think he's great, but Philly's going to smash him, and I hate Philly. I'm a Cowboys fan, and I hate Philadelphia, but they're gonna put a hurting on them.
All right, thank you to Ray, a Cowboys fan who's even believing in the Eagles.
That's a crazy thing to say.
It's
Do you think Cowboys fans know that he's calling into this show, hyping up Philly and how they're going to win the Super Bowl?
Let's be fair for a second, James. This is a great roster. The Eagles have
amazing roster.
They have a better. Do you really think it's out of the question that this team could pull this off? I mean,
I don't think it's out of the question. I just don't see.
You've been hating on the Eagles all.
You know
all these
I'm
2
not,
weeks.
dude. But it's not because my dislike for Philly. That's not the reason I think Kansas City's going to win. I think Kansas City's going to win because they have a clear advantage at the two most important spots in the game, quarterback and coaching staff. You got Andy Reid, greater than Nick Sirianni. You got Spags, greater than
Vic
Fangio. And I'll take Andy Reid and Matt Nagy over
Sirianni and Kellen Moore
every time.
I just think,
despite the great roster that they have.
Oh, okay. But here's my feeling. We've been knocking on this door for quite some time. 2 years ago, they lose in dramatic fashion to the Chiefs, 38-35. A holding penalty on James Bradbury that really shouldn't have been called basically crushes our hopes. Hurts plays a tremendous game going neck and neck with Mahomes. Mahomes does something great. Hurts does something great. Boom, boom, boom. Back and forth, they're trading blows. He fumbles the ball one time, and it's a scoop and score, and that's really a major difference maker as well, but he came back and played tremendous football. To me, the Eagles have been knocking on this door for so long. They know the agony of defeat. They know what it's like to be in those big moments. Jalen Hurts, all these new veteran guys who are now injected into this team, guys like Saquon Barkley, you see his face, the gratitude, the joy that he's playing with. I love Saquon. He knows what this moment means. They're not gonna think these guys, the Zach Bonds, the Brandon Graham who's getting healthy again, the Saquons, A.J. Brown, the guys that have been in this league for some time and now they're finally getting a taste of the Super Bowl. They're not gonna miss out on this opportunity. I don't think they're gonna let it, fall on their feet and just let it crumble.
You don't think every player that's playing in the Super Bowl has the same exact approach?
I just think that
we are not going to let this moment pass without giving it 110%.
I think it's not just about that. It's about being able to let go in the big moments because you've been there before and you know what losing feels like, and now you can rise to the occasion. I think Hurts, Sirianni, I think losing 2 years ago is going to propel them to victory this time around. And it's a different team. There's different makeups, different coordinators, different things going on.
To that same token,
but I think execution is going to be different.
1,000%. But to that same token, where Philly's coming off a Super Bowl loss, now they're back in it against the same team that they lost to earlier. You don't think Kansas City feels that same sort of juice and ambition when it comes to a three-peat?
I think they have more pressure on them, Casey.
I disagree.
See, tell me why you think so, but I think they have more pressure for the three-peat and being Mahomes and Reed and the team that's, constantly being chased. I think they have more pressure than Philly does. I think Philly's going to go out and just play ball.
I think Philly definitely has way more pressure on them because of the loss and because of those players returning from the Super Bowl 2 years ago. I think without a doubt, Sirianni and that staff, that's where the pressure lies, where if you're Kansas City, they've been fat and happy the last 2 years. They're the kings of the league. If they lose this, who cares? I mean, it's disappointing anytime you lose a Super Bowl, but at the end of the day, you're still a 3-time Super Bowl champion if you're Patrick Mahomes, and most of the players on that roster have already won 2 Super Bowls. I mean, they're playing with house money at this point. A three-peat would just be the cherry on top to make them arguably the greatest dynasty in the history of the league.
There's still an underdog component to this team right now. They're not to Philadelphia. And that's why I think it works in their favor. There's a lot more of a feeling. When they were in the Super Bowl 2 years ago, they were like, 10, 11? They went on a hot streak. The entire year they were playing with tremendous amount of play, whereas this year it's been more shaky. It's like there's more of a feeling and a sentiment around this team of the Nick Foles Super Bowl winning team, where there's more of a little bit of the Lions were supposed to be here. Other teams.
The Niners were supposed to be.
Yes, to me, they weren't the team that everybody was saying day one, week one, you're in the Super Bowl. So things have worked out. They've gotten to a really great place, and I think it's all about Saquon. I think if Saquon has the game he's been having all playoff long, the Eagles are going to win this game. I think it's as simple as that. James, as we head to break, we're going to be hearing from somebody, but I want to say, coming up, you want to make sure you don't go anywhere. We have former head coach of the Minnesota Vikings, Mike Tice, joining us next, so don't go anywhere.
What is your bold prediction for Super Bowl 59? Ronald Chaplin on Facebook says, Chiefs by 3, 2 obvious bad calls to give them possession. Barkley, 160 yards rushing, a boring halftime show.
Oh, do we have a treat in store for you? We have former NFL head coach Mike Tice joining me now. Is a long conversation. You can watch the whole thing on our YouTube page, but we're going to pick and choose some great moments as we gear up for Super Bowl 59. Let's break down this Super Bowl game, because obviously 2 years ago, it was neck and neck. Eagles, Chiefs. Hurts had a tremendous game. He makes one mistake the whole game with that fumble, but beyond that, they're going neck and neck, Mahomes and Hurts. He's making throws, dropping dimes to Dallas Goedert off the sideline. He had that huge passes in the end zone, great pass to A.J. Brown, to Devontae. He's doing a little bit of everything. And then, of course, there's that awful holding call on Bradbury, which probably shouldn't have been called. But it really could have gone either way. And then, for some reason, the defeat, losing in the Super Bowl on the biggest stage, it's crushing to an organization. And they had to kind of refine their footing. The Sirianni and Hurts don't have the same relationship. And now they finally got some juice, thanks to Saquon, the defensive line, the offensive line. When you're breaking down this game and trying to educate our audience on what's going to happen Super Bowl Sunday, what are the big things that we got to be thinking about and top of mind?
Well, first of all, I'm not sure if I'm correct because I didn't look, but I want to say that each of the playoff games has been won by the team that's won the turnover ratio.
Yes.
So first thing, it's got to start with, and both teams are plus. I think the Eagles are like plus 11 in turnover ratio. I think the Chiefs are like plus 6 or something like that. And so they win the turnover battle. But whoever loses the turnover battle in this game, in my opinion, will lose the game. All right, let's just say now let's go to stage 2. There are no turnovers.
Right.
Teams are just playing the game. They're pretty equal in a lot of areas. Defensively, they both play well. but they both have different styles. KC is blitz heavy, big time blitz heavy, and so we used to have a saying when we were rolling in Minnesota was, let them blitz. They're going to win by the blitz, they're going to die by the blitz, and we're going to burn them. So there could be some big gashing runs in the run game with this blitz from the Kansas City Chiefs, and is on the other side with the blitz against Hurts. Hurts is going to have an issue if he has to hold the ball. He's going to have an issue. They don't have that type of passing game. So this is going to be the only real advantage when I look through a couple of things that I saw, pretty equal all around, different styles. Kansas City's going to pass the game, pass the ball, have intermediate passing game in the zone. They're going to find the zone. They're going to use that as a run. But also, I know the way Andy is, Reed, if they're going to play soft and make sure they don't beat them down the field, then they're going to hand the football off. They're going to hand the football off to Pacheco. They're going to hand the football off to Kareem Hunt, and they're going to attack Philadelphia that way. It's like, okay, what do you give me? That's what we're going to play. We don't care. We're not worried about stats. We're worried about winning the football game. So it's a very interesting game. But there is one area that both teams have been okay at, not great at. It's the red zone scoring touchdowns. In this area, Philadelphia has a little bit of an edge, not only in the regular season, but in the playoffs as well. So I'm interested to see who's going to convert and score touchdowns in the red zone and who's going to kick field goals. And to me, the turnovers, scoring touchdowns in the red zone, those are going to be the two big keys. These are both great defenses that are probably both a little susceptible to giving up a big play here and there because of the style of play that they play, but both excellent, as you said, both excellent coordinators on defense, both great mind on, of course, the Chiefs side offensively. And there's Kellen Moore, to me. He's being talked about for a head coaching job in New Orleans. I think he's grown up this year. He went from pass crazy in Dallas to now run crazy, and to me that shows a maturity as a football coach, and I don't think you can put enough value on that because – if I was a betting man, I would think that the running back for Philadelphia has a really good chance to win the MVP in this football game.
I think they're going to live and die by Saquon. I found a stat when I was doing some research on you, which I loved. In 2002, your first season as a full-time head coach with the Vikings led the NFL in rushing for the first time ever in your first season. In 2002, Michael Bennett was the running back at that time. Was Matt Burke the center at that time too?
Yeah.
So to get that, to get that groove going where you almost know it's like being in a bar fight, right? No matter what you give us, even you got Chris Jones, you got George Karlaftis, we don't care. We're going to be able to run the ball down your throat. Does Philadelphia really need to feel that? And you think with Landon Dickerson, Juergens, that line, Becton moving from tackle to guard looking strong, Mailata, Lane Johnson, to me, punch him in the mouth and just let Saquon do his thing and let's set the tone running the ball.
Yes, and that's why it's an intriguing matchup. Very, very good point. And the problem which lies with the Chiefs in that regard is the Chiefs guys, Chris, all those big, good-looking dudes up front, and that secondary, they don't want to, get in there and honker down on a 4-point stance and play the run. They want to rush the passer and pound their chests, and they hope Philadelphia throws the ball.
Right.
I think Philadelphia is going to try. I wouldn't be surprised to see them come out and run an option in this game. As part of their every series stuff. With the quarterback. What do you got to lose? What do you got to lose? And give them another blocker by letting the quarterback keep the ball some more, which they've been very good at this year.
Teach us something here. If Vic Fangio called you up this past week and said, hey, Mike, how the hell are we going to stop Travis Kelce as a former tight end? Tell us, what do you do to stop a guy like this? Because let's be frank, he looks a little bit more out of shape. He's not the same Travis Kelce maybe from the past 2 seasons, but still, I think a lot of it was purposeful. They didn't want him getting a lot of wear and tear throughout the season. They want him rising to the occasion in these playoff games. If Vic Fangio called you up and said, Mike, what should I do to scheme so we don't have Kelce dominating this game? All right. That's just a little taste of our tremendous interview with Mike Tice. Make sure you go to our YouTube page, Silver State Sports and Entertainment, to listen to the full interview with former head coach Mike Tice.
Is the Luka trade the worst trade in NBA history? Patrick Luke on Facebook says, not even close. Paul Pierce and KG to the Nets will always take the cake.
Well, it's the trade that shocked the world. Many people thought it was fake. People were thinking Shams, the breaking news reporter on Twitter, had been hacked because they could not believe the Dallas Mavericks would trade 25-year-old superstar Luka Doncic, one of the most talented guys in all of the NBA, a guy who took the Mavs to the NBA Finals just a season ago, and he was traded for pennies on the dollar. A guy
I couldn't believe
who was traded to the Lakers for AD, Max Christie, and a first-round pick in 2029. Mikal Bridges got about 5 first-round picks, 4 first-round picks, I believe, for Mikal Bridges. So Luka Doncic is traded, almost not even put on the market. It's almost like the Mavericks and Nico Harrison, their general manager, decided we're going to just try the target, Anthony Davis, and that's who we want, and we want to make this swap for Anthony Davis.
They really wanted Luka out of the building that bad?
I guess that's what that means.
Over those work ethic concerns, those health concerns, those fitness concerns, they were that bad that you're willing to give up a top 3 to 5 player in the league
who's 25,
the face of your franchise, just give him away? I mean, you're not giving him away, but when you have a guy like Luka Doncic, international superstar, 25 years old, you couldn't get more than street clothes Davis in a first round pick in 2029. Listen, I'm not a front office person in basketball. I never will be. But that's just bad business.
It's bad business. Listen, if you want to ship him out so badly, you got to at least see what the market says. You got to put out a call and say, what will teams give us? Teams would have been leaping at the opportunity.
You had to have been able to get more.
This is the after effects of the trade. This is a 5-time All-Star. Fans in Dallas have already been canceling their season ticket packages. The Dallas Mavericks lost 700,000 followers on their Instagram alone from the move. To me, my feeling is we all know this stuff. The rumors of Luka being 275 pounds, a little overweight, maybe his conditioning not being up to par of where they would like it. We all know the viral video from when they were celebrating last season.
You don't take a beer off a grown man.
Michael Finley, who's in the front office with the Mavs, takes a beer away from Luka Doncic. So we all know those things. The bottom line is this is a guy who's been playing professional basketball since he was 16 years old. He was playing with Real Madrid at 16 years old as a professional. The guy has already proven that he can score the basketball, and he's in fine shape. Could he be in better? Yes. But when it comes to the NBA, where you're not wearing helmets, you're looking for faces, people that are putting butts in seats, Anthony Davis does not do that. Does he protect the rim? Yes. Is he a rim protector who can shoot a jump shot? Yes, certainly he can. Is he one of the best defensive players, if not maybe perhaps the best defensive player in the NBA? Yes. But nobody's going to a game to watch Anthony Davis, and you just missed the boat now because you had a guy who was a calling card for the NBA. James, we have a great phone call on this exact dilemma. Let's hear.
Hey, Mike, this is Kevin from D.C., fan of the 2 straight wins Washington Wizards, who are no longer holding the bag for that bum Kuzma. This is the worst trade ever. Here's why. Neither of these teams got better from this. Did the Lakers win the trade? Sure. They have a young superstar who's going to develop over time, and that's great. But we spent the whole week before this trade talking about how AD needed the Lakers to trade for a center to match up with him. Now with no AD, we're staring down the barrel of Jared Vanderbilt and Jackson Hayes taking up that front court for LeBron and Luka. which it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's not defense. You're not going to be able to throw oops to those guys, even though Jackson Hayes is an athletic freak. And then on the Mavs side, you add AD to a roster that has Daniel Gafford, P.J. Washington, and Derek Lively, who was the draft surprise of last year. They're all playing the exact same position there. Now they have no front court outside of a crippled, aging Clay and Kyrie, who seems to be losing his mind. So this is the worst trade, not for the reason other people are saying, because it was done in the darkness, but both teams got actually worse for right now. Thanks.
All right, one of the best calls.
Shout out to Kev. That guy knows what he's talking about.
What a great call. One of the all-timers. That's the exact kind of insight we love to see and hear on Sound Off Sports. We'll be right back after a short break.
Is the Luka trade the worst in NBA history? George Mayfield on Facebook says, Babe Ruth to the Yankees is at least as good.
All right, it's time for Sink or Swim. Welcome back to Sound of Sports, James. Prediction time.
Yep.
As we head into Super Bowl 59, you're going to go first because my heart is already pounding for my Philadelphia
You're not going to
Eagles.
want to hear this, what I have to
Let's
say.
hear. I already know what you're going to say.
Okay. I got Kansas City,
Of course.
23-20. I got a low-scoring defensive battle, two great defenses going head-to-head. I got Saquon Barkley to have under 70 yards rushing. That's my bold prediction for the game. But I got the Chiefs to win 23-20.
I'm going to say Saquon is going to go over 100 rushing yards. He will be the MVP of the game. I'm going to go 31-27. Philadelphia wins.
That high scoring, huh?
I think it will be. I think it's going to be neck and neck, but I do think the Eagles are going to control the game because Saquon is going to have this magical year that a lot of people think is coming to an end for Saquon is not going to be coming to an end. This is going to be the season that everyone dreams about and thinks about, the capstone season for Saquon Barkley as he's crowned Super Bowl MVP.
It's not going to happen, but I'll be here to be a shoulder to cry on for you.
I love it.
Next week.
You're a good friend. Guys, enjoy Super Bowl Sunday. We're wishing you the best. We'll see you next time here on SOS.